On Thanksgiving, my parents served dinner to 30 relatives on the porch, then made me eat my plate on the porch. A week later, those same people called me over 150 times a day, begging to talk. They didn't call because they loved me. They called because they found out my dying grandma left me the house they had been living in for free. I was 26, with my own apartment and job, but I grew up in that house like a tolerated stray. My mom married my stepdad when I was 4, had my sister 2 years later, and from that point on, I was the mistake. My sister got new clothes and birthday parties. I got donation bins and a basement storage room next to a rattling water heater. When I was 12, my stepdad told me, "I pay for my real child. Be grateful you get to eat here." My mom stood in the doorway and said nothing, and that silence did more damage than his words. I still showed up that Thanksgiving because my grandma asked me to. It was 38 inches Ohio, and I came in wearing a jacket. My stepdad took it, walked to the garage, came back, and said he threw it in the trash because real men don't need coats. The whole room laughed. I didn't. I just logged it in, the same mental file I had been building since childhood. At dinner, there were 30 people and 29 chairs. My mom handed me a plate and said there was no room, so I should eat on the back porch. Then she whispered she told everyone I had a stomach bug so nobody would question it. I walked out, and she locked the door behind me. Then the tiny heater clicked and barely warmed my knees. Next, my sister pressed her phone to the glass and started recording. Then she laughed so hard she bent over. Again, she mouthed, "You're actually doing it." Then she pointed at me like I was a zoo animal. Next, I heard forks and plates while I sat there freezing. Again, nobody came to check on me. That night, my sister posted the video with the caption, "Thanksgiving dog." I went home, stayed quiet, and waited. A week later, my grandma had a bad fall and called a family meeting about her estate. I skipped it. My phone exploded anyway. 147 calls Monday, 156 Tuesday, then non-stop voicemails from people who ignored me for years. That was when they learned the house was never theirs. My grandma owned it, and she left it to me. She had told me 3 years earlier, after watching how they treated me my whole life. She said she was ashamed she did not stop it sooner. She also knew my stepdad had been telling everyone the house would be his, so they made financial decisions based on an inheritance that never existed. When my mom finally met me at a diner, she did not apologize. She called me a thief. She said grandma was confused, I was manipulating her, and family harmony mattered more than paperwork. I said, "Was locking me on the porch for 40 minutes harmony?" She said, "That was a misunderstanding." I showed her the video. She changed tactics and said we should split fairly, meaning I should give most of it to her and my stepdad. I told her no. Then she hinted they could talk to grandma and make her reconsider. So I warned her that if they lied to my grandma again, I would send that porch video to every relative and every friend at the assisted living center. She called my bluff. I was not bluffing. My stepdad came to my building, shouted threats through my door, and I recorded everything before security removed him. My grandma's lawyer had her record a clear video statement, date, full name, sound mind, exact reasons, no promises made to my stepdad, ever. When my mom tried digging into medical records and asked about guardianship, the facility flagged it. My grandma signed new forms, naming me healthcare proxy and blocking my mom and stepdad from decisions. Then they held a family meeting to paint me as the villain. I sent my aunt the porch video and told her the full story. She played it for everyone. Half the room walked out on them. My grandma passed 11 days after that. At the funeral, my stepdad cornered me, called me a leech, and threatened to make my life miserable. He did not notice my uncle and cousin standing right behind him, hearing every word. Probate went through unchallenged. His lawyer dropped the $63K repair claim after grandma's statement, and after the math showed, 15 years of free rent was worth far more. I gave them 6 months to move out, not a day extra. Final day, I arrived with a locksmith at 9 a.m. They were gone, and the house was stripped petty. Lights, fans, even towel racks. I fixed it, moved in, and now I sleep in the master bedroom and eat at the dining table where I was never allowed to sit. Some mornings I drink coffee on that same porch, the one where my mom said dogs eat. What would you do in my place, cut them off forever, or leave one last door open?